Welcome back. Tensions are rising in the Persian Gulf this morning as President Trump weighs his military options after sending a large naval force led by the carrier USS Abraham Lincoln toward the rogue nation. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also revoking the privilege of senior Iranian officials and their families to travel to the United States in response to the deadly crackdown on protesters who are demanding freedom from the Ayatollah Khomeini's brutal regime. Joining me now is former Deputy National Security Advisor to President Trump, Victoria Coates. Victoria, thanks so much for being here. What is your reaction to this armada headed and in striking distance of Iran? And what do you think President Trump should be doing now?
Well, Maria, good to be with you. Yes, this is a historic buildup in the Middle East, giving President Trump every option he might want to take action against the mullahs in Tehran. And these protests are different, and the response of the regime is different. They're larger, they're more sustained, they're in response to systemic economic failure in the country. And then the response of the regime has been different. As many as 30,000 slaughtered in a two-day period or last month. That is a really grim situation, and I think President Trump wants all of those options. I think he wants, if he takes action, for the action to be decisive and then to end it. He doesn't want to get us, as Senator Schmidt was just saying, into another endless war.
Yeah, I mean, look, we thought the Iranians were in a weakened position. What does the president or the Trump administration need to do to stop this?
Well, they are in a weakened position because they can't fix their economy. So in the long term, I think they're going to be a self-solving problem. But in the short term, they're even more vicious because they're trying to survive desperately. So I think that's why the president wants all of this in the region. He's also surging our missile defense systems, our Patriots, our THAADs. He also sold $9 billion worth of Patriots to the Saudis. Sheikh Khaled bin Salman, MBS's younger brother, was in Washington this week, and they inked that deal for a huge number of Patriots so the Saudis can defend themselves. It's not just us doing the defending. We're arming our allies in the region so they have greater capabilities to defend against Iran.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's just frustrating that it's taking so long to get the weapons on the ground that we need. We just spoke with the senator about that, the fact that we can't make weapons fast enough to keep up with what's going on in the world.
No, we can't. But again, really important announcements this month. With Lockheed Martin, the president has said we're going to triple our production of Patriot interceptors. We're going to quadruple our THAAD interceptors. This is billions of dollars of investment. That's why the procurement process that's going to happen in 2026 in the Congress is critical.
All right, I want to take a break, and then I want to ask you about China and what just happened at the Panama Canal. Stay with us. Former Deputy National Security Advisor Victoria Coates. Back in a minute. Welcome back, and I'm back with the Heritage Foundation's Vice President of National Security, Victoria Coates. Victoria, I want to get your take on this headline this past week, which I think is a huge story. I know you do, too. You posted about it. Panama's top court has ruled that the contract granted to Li Ka-shing's C.K. Hutchinson to operate the two ports near the Panama Canal is unconstitutional. That's a big story.
It's a huge story, Maria, and this is something we've been working hard on at Heritage. And I was with President Kevin Roberts when he appeared live on your show from the canal last March, because we were down visiting it and visiting with President Molino. And at that point, they were saying, oh, no, there's no Chinese influence. There's no problem with China. It's an economic decision. Well, no, that got reversed this week because of the sustained engagement of the Trump administration and the president himself. He knows how vital the Panama Canal is to our economy. If you want to shut us off, shut off the canal. It's intolerable that China would control those ports, and now the Panama Supreme Court has declared that contract null and void. The Danish company Maersk is going to come in, and then we'll see if BlackRock takes them over.
Well, that was my next question. Do you think this opens up the opportunity for BlackRock to acquire those ports? Because we thought that they were going to be able to, but then China stopped. I mean, China has been very effective at infiltrating ports all across the world.
Yes, they have. From Darwin in Australia, the Australians may now be nationalizing that port to kick the Chinese out. Haifa in Israel, Piraeus in Greece. This is a terrible problem. And a lot of it is Hutchinson, which was a fairly benign Hong Kong-based country when they were under British rule. Now they're under CCP rule. It's become an extension of the Communist Party. They can't be trusted. They have to go.
Yeah, and I remember President Trump said you go to the Panama Canal and all the signs are in Chinese. I mean, you know, it's just obviously the CCP has dominated. Victoria, it's always a pleasure to talk with you. Thanks so much for your leadership and your excellence. We appreciate you. Victoria Coates.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.